Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everybody to Mississippi Advisory Commission on Marine Resources for Tuesday, June 16th. Commissioner McClendon, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Director, would you want to lead us in a prayer, please?
Yeah. Well, but before we go to prayer, we just want to take a few moments. And, you know, it seems like we might be out of a war for a little while. And it seems like that our country has worked out something with Iran. And I'm hoping that works out. And I tell you what, we got a great president that's fighting hard for us. And I think we're going to see some things change in the Middle East because of that. And, you know, we won't have to worry about a lot of the things that's been going on. So we need to be thanking the Lord for that. Because I think if it had, you know, he put him there to do it. You know, we go back to the Bible many a days, and you look at where the Lord put different kings in different places to do different things. Some was to do bad, and some was to do good. I think that he did this for us to do good. So let's go to the Lord in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you. We're just so blessed. We're blessed to have this agency, and Lord, we're blessed to have the commission. And we just thank you, Lord, for giving us any of the wisdom that we have. And we just ask that you to give us your wisdom as much as we could to be able to do it your way. We need to run this agency the way that you would have us run it, Lord, and not the way we want to do it. And we just thank you for all the ones that are here today. And I know we got several awards that we want to give out today. And I thank you so much for those too, for the gentlemen that are going to receive those. And thank you for their families for putting up for the times that they're gone and what they have to do to be able to be out here and keep our waters safe. Lord, we just ask you to take our mouths and use it the way you would have us to do and not ours. Ask this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Director. I want to confirm Commissioner Daniels is linked in via Teams. Commissioner Daniels, do you copy? Thank you, sir.
Where are you at?
Okay, so has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes from May 19th? And if you have any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
All right, he is awake.
There we go. All right, moving on to the agenda. Do we have any questions on the agenda? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. All right. All right, Director. Looks like it's all yours.
All right. Well, a couple of things before we get started here. I think I just saw a young man in the back there with that used to be our former Chief of Marine Patrol, Keith Davis, back there. So, Keith, thank you for coming today. And I think I saw the former chief of D'Iberville in here. Where did Wayne Payne go? There he is. Thank you, Wayne. We got too many chiefs in here now. We got to get some Indians. And you know how it is, but that works out good. All right, employment contracts. We got a few. We got Nathan Calhoun, who started in June the 1st as Environmental Natural Resource Specialist 1, the Shrimp and Crab Office. We got Zachary Hill, who started June the 8th as Environmental Natural Resource Specialist Permitting. And we had promotions. We got Josh Waters, who was from ENRS 3 to Environmental Natural Resource Specialist team. And then he's a lead finfish for us. Then we got interns. We had a new intern that just came on, and Jude Alley, and started on the 1st. They had a little issue and had to be able to start them later. But we welcome them, and thank you for the ones that were able to get promoted. It's always good to be able to do that. We don't have any contracts to talk about at this time, so we'll move on from that. We had a June 1st Gulf Council meeting. It was Rick and I were there, and when Jason was there, and but I don't know where Jason's at. Where did he at? Saipan? Is that what he said? somewhere today. But anyway, he was there with us, but he's on the council. But we talked about a lot of good things. A couple of things that happened in that June council meeting. One was that that we're getting a little bit closer with our MS Creel, and MS Creel's gonna, is moving right along. I think, a matter of fact, I just saw a thing yesterday to where they're going to the council's asking them for an update on it at this next meeting, so we'll be able to get a little bit data update. But I think everything's going good with that. The other thing that we did, we met with the other 4 states, and the other 4 states were talking with us about what we could do, and we decided that we need to relook at the allocation of red snapper in the Gulf. And it seems that what happened is when we did the allocation in 2017, and we decided that there was X amount of pounds to go to, percentage to go to each state. That was fine with Mississippi. We were fine because we were in the 150,000 pound plus range, and that's about where we need to be. Well, then when they did the recalibration, when they came in and calibrated and looked at it, everything with MREP changed it down. And that's when we went down to where we're at now we went down to 60 something, and now we're back to 80 something thousand. But, so what I've asked them, they was 3.88% that was kind of unaccounted for during that time. Well, that's more than Mississippi has right now. We only have 3.55%. So I talked to them about it, and the states are all willing to do it. And what we're going to do is, I think it's going to wait. I don't know which exact route it'll go. It may be a 0.5% from each state that they give us to give us 2% to put us at 5.55%, and which will get us close to where we need to be at the 140,000, 30,000 pound range. Or Florida may say, hey, we'll take the lump of it and we'll take a 1%. I don't know. And then Louisiana and Alabama will take a 0.5% each. But either way about it, they're willing to go back. And that was what was so good. They were willing to go back to their governors and say, hey, we want to do this, and we think this is the right thing to do. And this is the best way to do it. And then we can put that. So hopefully, if that works next year, we will have somewhere in the neighborhood of 130 to 140,000 pounds. And that'll be a lot better than what it is. What this will make a difference is Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, and Texas are all fishing 100 and something plus days. We're fishing 45 days. That's not right. And they know that. So this will be able to take us to be able to move to somewhere in that 60 to 90 day range, and maybe 100 days. It depends on the weather. If it's like today, we'll be able to fish 120 days, but it depends on the weather, what's going to happen there. But what I want to get at is mainly important that we can look at it then, and then we'll have allocation to be able to look at, and hopefully we'll be able to go back to the point to where we could do a season where we do now, from Memorial Weekend till sometime right after 4th of July, take a week or 2 off, go back, reallocate, do some things, give the fish a break and everything else, and then come back and have a fall season. And that would be fantastic. Especially a fall season would be fantastic to people to be able to go out, a lot of them on the weekends and all. And so that's something that I think that it's going to go very good. And we've been fighting this battle for 5 years. And so hopefully we'll get there. And I think that seems to be the best way for us to get to where we need. And Trevor's shaking his head, so I know I'm saying the right thing. So, I think it's our best bet for us to get to where we need to be. And I believe the states will work with us. I don't think any one of them will turn against us. I think they understand, and they know that the situation, and they understand it. So any questions on that? That was the big things out of it, so that was the most important part. June the 3rd, I testified to the National Resource Subcommittee legislation in Washington, D.C. I testified to Congress, and we did it on the House Resolution 8542 Offshore Parity Act. And what that is basically, right now, Florida and Texas, their state waters for all fishing is 9 miles. Ours is only for reef fish to 9 miles. And Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama have been since the 1950s not being able to do that. I've been fighting this for 8 years. I brought it up when I first got on the council, and I've been fighting this for 8 years to be able to get it done. And I want to thank Congressman Ezell for getting it on the agenda for me. And he was able to get it there, and we were able to testify, and I think we're fine. I talked to him several times afterwards, and I think what will happen is it will come out of the committee, and then I gotta get it through the House. But I think there's a couple of little glitches on it that would change in the House, but I think we can get there, and then we'll have to work on the Senate to be able to get it through the Senate. What this means is now that our local shrimpers could fish probably another 3 or 4 months a year extra on top of what they're doing, because they can't go but 3 miles south. That's where they're setting. They're setting at 3 miles south for shrimp and all. So now they could go out, and it, just like what's happened to us right now with all this weather, the rain and everything else, the shrimp were plentiful, and they came out of the bays and they were plentiful and everything was great. And then all of a sudden they just started moving south, because when it gets fresh water in there, they'll move. And so they started with the winds and rains, and they just moved south. And I was talking to some shrimpers the other day about it, and they were talking about, man, we were catching them right and left, and now they've all moved south of the islands. Well, that's okay if you got a federal permit, but most of our shrimpers don't have federal permits in this area, and we need to be able to take care of them. This means now they could go 9 miles, which they could catch a lot more shrimp. And what does that mean for us? Number one, maybe we can catch more shrimp because the federal fleet is not there. There's not as many federal fleet out there as there were before, and just as there's not our normal fleet, but the federal fleet's not there, so it'll help us there. So we'll be able to move forward with it. But we'll also bring more shrimp, and that means that we'll be able to get more fresh shrimp right here off the dock, right here into our processors and everything else, and into our markets every day. And we'll be able to get it for several more months rather than the time that we'll be able to do it. And, it'll help us to be able to get more shrimp on the table here that are fresh, that we've been trying to push so hard for. Next thing, Ronnie, you're going to love this. It would mean 9 miles for our charter boat, for our state charter. And that will mean that they can go out now to 9 miles for a state charter instead of 3 miles. Well, that makes a lot of difference when you're trying to catch certain fish, especially redfish and others, and it makes a lot of difference for it. And it'll even help with snapper, because with snapper season and all, there's some reefs at 9 miles that they can get to. And so it will help them. It will be able to do some things, and hopefully it will take care of our charter fleet a little bit, because, people don't realize how much that means to South Mississippi and the state of Mississippi. But the people coming in to do charters are great, because they come here and they don't just get on the boat and go fish for 4 or 5 hours. They spend a lot of money. They go to our stores, they go to our restaurants, they go to our markets, and they do a lot of things, and they spend a lot of money in our hotels and all. So it's a good thing for them, and we want to help them as much as we can. But hopefully we're going to get this. Y'all keep an eye out on it. I will keep everybody as much as I can abreast with it as soon as the congressman tells me that he's got it out of the committee, because they'll have to vote on it. And as soon as it goes to the vote for the committee, then we'll move forward. Any questions on that? All right. June 6th through the 9th, the Billfish tournament. Had a little problem. It was supposed to be that 4th through the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I think, but then the rain hit, and so we had a little bit of a problem. Am I doing something wrong? Oh, I've been talking, nobody heard me? That's good. But it wound up, it did have the tournament, and I think it ended up on Tuesday rather than on Saturday. But that's okay. We lost a few boats, but we still had about 80 boats, 70, 80 boats that were able to be there, and that's a huge tournament. I want to say 630 pounds or something like that was the one that won it, which is a pretty good sized billfish. So they did have a good tournament. Everything worked out good. So we're glad to do that, and hopefully we'll continue to be able to support that and continue to have it. Our 2019-20 Bonnie Carey, we're just steadily moving forward with that. We're trying to get the second phase to the second phase. So that's where we're at right now. It's amazing. Mississippi's the only state that pays the shrimpers and the oystermen and the finfish people. one fishing. Mississippi's the only one that pays them direct for their loss. All the other states that get the money don't pay it. You have to go buy a new piece of equipment or something else to be able to get paid back for it. We pay you for your loss, and that's what we're working on right now. And so we're glad to do that, and about $7 million has been paid out for that. So hopefully we are able to help our fishermen be able to stay in business, because when you got a expensive boat and sitting there that's not able to fish, then that's tough. And we had that for 5 years with the oystermen. And so that's a lot of tough, and shrimp took a big hit. And our crabbers took hits. Everybody took hits, our finfish, but now we're able to get back and hopefully be able to get them back a little bit closer to where they was at, to where they can stay in business. Any questions on that? All right, Seafood Task Force meeting, we had one on June the 8th. We do have a logo. I don't have it with me, but we do have a new logo. And there's a logo going out, and it'll go out to all the restaurants, and it will go to the markets and everything else. And what we're doing is it's basically supporting Gulf seafood, Mississippi Gulf seafood. And that's what we're supporting so hard. And we have everything set up for now to where we can start July the 1st to start going inspecting restaurants and other places to be able to make sure they're in compliance. And our Marine Patrol officers and also our ones in science labs and all will be going out, and they will be seafood testing, and they will go out and do the testing for us. And we're going to be able to look at it. We're going to be able to make sure that we're doing the right things in Mississippi. It's encouraging. We did if you go back and think about what happened in 2024 when they first did the sample on the shrimp, and they come back and 18% of the restaurants in South Mississippi were serving Mississippi Gulf fresh. This time, 64% was serving it. Now that's pretty good. In 2 years' time, that's how much people have looked at it. Now they was out of the 30-something%, there was a lot of them that were misrepresenting it. We're gonna get them. We'll take care of that. There's 30-something% that wasn't serving it, but they were misrepresenting what they were doing. About 60% of them were, and so. But we'll straighten that out. We'll get that straightened out, and we'll get things headed in the right direction. We got to understand, if we don't buy Gulf fresh, and we don't put it on our markets, and we don't put it in our restaurants, then we're not going to have any fishermen out here. We had 22 boats that showed up first day of shrimp season. In 2005, it was 800. Come on. We got to get there. We started out, when we started out our oyster season this year, there was just a handful of boats. We wound up with about 40 before it was over with. It was averaging 30, 40 a day. That's good. At least we're getting it back. We've got to get something. We've got to be able to market it. And what we're going to do with this, in this marketing, what we're doing is we're going to run ads. And we're putting a little over $2 million into this. And that's what we're going to put into advertisement, to be able to advertise Mississippi seafood. We're doing everything we can to get people to go out and buy it. And we want them to eat it. And we want them to understand what they're doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to help the restaurants and the markets and the grocery stores and all. If you are doing that, if you're selling Gulf seafood, and especially Mississippi, then we're going to give you symbols to put up, and we're going to help you advertise. We're going to go out and advertise your company. We're going to tell people to go here. Here's where you want to go, because these people are serving Gulf fresh. This is what we need. And that's what we're going to work on. We're going to do everything we can to get this back. And, we got plentiful oysters out there. We got to figure out how to eat a big oyster. And, we got so used to eating a regular sized oyster. Now we got to figure out how to eat a big one. I figured out, well, we can just call it a 2 oyster poor boy, or something like that, because, they some big ones. But we got to figure it out, and we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. I can promise you. And there's something going to happen on it. So any questions on the task force? No, look forward to it coming out and a hit soon. We're going to be cruising the coast. It's going to be all over cruising the coast. And there's new symbols and everything else that we're doing. June 22nd, 23rd is the Governor Fishing Classic. That's next week. I would ask you to come and join us, but we're sold out, and that's good. But I want to thank all the people who help us with that. We have about 6 local boat owners that are come together, and they donate their 60 and 70-foot boats to us. And some of them, you know, then they donate their boats to us to be able to use. They donate their crews, they donate their fuel, and they do everything for us to be able to raise money for our foundation, which we're part of the Mississippi Wildlife, Fisheries, Parks, and Marine Foundation. And this is part of it, and we use that money, and that money is taken to be able to do scholarships. I just got approval that the foundation board approved for us to go forward. And so we're going to be able to go forward now, and we'll be going out for some scholarships, and they're about $5,000 per person. And so we're going out on that. That should hit here shortly. And Ronnie Daniels did what?
Exit.
All right. But anyway, we'll be able to get that. And but that a lot of the money that we raise through the foundation and through this Governor's Fishing Classic and is something that we use that money to be able to give scholarships, and we also are using it to be able to help train kids how to fish and buy them tackles and rod and reels and other things to do, and live preservers and everything else that we need to do. And we also we're going to work on doing some other things, and it's cleaning up the estuary. And so it may be, you know, we get enough money in the right pots, we'll be able to match some federal funds and be able to do some things that we need to do. I still want to clean up that Pascagoula River, and I want to clean it up because that's a gem that we have in Mississippi, and we're letting it be destroyed every day because people dumping raw sewage in it. We got to stop it. We got to stop it. We just got to figure out how to get all the money to do it. And Congressman Ezel's fighting hard to help me with that, and so is Cindy Hyde-Smith. All right, let's see. But if you got something you want to donate for us to be able to auction off, now we'll still take those. All right. And matter of fact, Cam, I think your agency's part of this. I think serving a lot of the water and other things that we have.
Sir.
Thank you for that. And I think your agency's helping us too, isn't it, on some of the stuff? I believe it is for the shrimp.
Yep.
Thank you. And Ronnie donated a fishing trip, so we're getting support out of the board here. Now Ronnie come back after I talked about it. All right, Neshoba County Fair, Red Clay Sand Mixers is next Wednesday. If you hadn't been to one of those, you ought to come up. It's a lot of fun. We cook shrimp, oysters, fish, and I tell you what, all the trimmings at the Neshoba County Fair last year, we had 600 and something people for that dinner that night. And they're coming from all over the state of Mississippi and other places. It's a good thing. So if you're in Neshoba next week for the Neshoba County Fair, come by on that Wednesday night. It starts at about 6 o'clock. It's cabin 58. Just please come by. We'd love to have you there. We'll be closed July the 4th, and that's on Saturday, but we'll take the 3rd. So the governor's giving us the 3rd for the 4th, so be that. Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo, July the 2nd through the 5th at the Barksdale Pavilion. So come by and see us. You know, we got some, and be able to see what has been caught. Our next Mississippi Seafood Task Force meeting is July. We haven't decided, probably be the 2nd week of July because we won't do it right after the 4th. Our next commission meeting is the 21st of July at 9 a.m. Is everybody okay with that? Yep. And closing my fingers that we're going to be back in the Bolton building, some of us for that, so we'll see. All right, derelict vessels, we got 251 derelict vessel cases that have been reported. 218 have been removed, 33 are in pending removal, and 6 are in court. So that's pretty good. We've done a pretty good job of all that. Let's see, what else am I missing here? Do we have actions update? We don't have anything? Okay, I was looking, where's that? I usually forget it, but I didn't.
No.
Well, other than that, I think that's enough for me to run my mouth for today, so Commissioner?
All right. Director, appreciate it. I think that's so many prime examples of all the hard work that you and the staff put in to move us forward, and it's all good news there. Appreciate that. Do the commissioners have anything they want to report? Good. Good. All right. Well, we'll move down to Chief Wilkerson.
Good morning. What about this weather?
Morning.
I mean, really. May itself was a wet month also. We're looking at, we were able to check 1,200 plus individuals in May. Memorial Day was, unfortunately for the public, was a wash, but it was a blessing for Marine Patrol. I'm just going to tell you, we like when it rains because it keeps a lot of the folks at bay, and the good folks, they go out and they do good things. Other than that, nothing really jumps out at the report itself. I will field any questions if you have any. You guys have any questions on it?
I don't have any questions. Any questions? I really appreciate everything you guys are doing. Hopefully y'all can stay dry over the next week.
Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm really up here to recognize 3 individuals, outstanding officers. Now, I have a bunch of good folks, okay? They all do great things, but these guys really stand out. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna hand it over to Captain Strickland. He's gonna do a brief synopsis on both, and then we'll get these individuals up here and we'll shake their hands and clap for them and pat them on the back. All right?
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you guys for allowing us time to come up here today and talk about it. Just to kind of give you a brief overview, the Public Safety Summit met back in May. It was their 3rd annual. And every year they ask us to, or agencies to nominate people who have shown outstanding excellence and professionalism in their work. And we've done that. We did this year, and through our nomination, the governor's decided to elect 2 of our officers as first responders of the year. Just kind of give you an update on what happened. It was November 8th, 2025, about 1:20 a.m. Goshen Police Department reached out to us to assist them in a silver alert. A man with a known mental issues and cognitive abilities had wandered off, and they believed that he had wandered down into the bayou back behind Gulf Coast Community College. They launched a vessel into a narrow body of water and went to that area and was able to locate said individual. When they located him, his condition was deteriorating extremely fast. Hypothermia was setting in, as I said, November 8th, and he was about waist deep in the mud. Now, I know our barrier islands have beautiful little beaches and things, but some of our areas over in the east, our bayous, the mud can be very thick, very deep, and if you get into it, even for a healthy person, sometimes that can be very difficult to do. They located Mr. Madonna. Actually, he was chest deep. He was unable to free himself, but to exacerbate the issue a little bit, they also noticed that approximately a 9-foot alligator had already set its sights on Mr. Madonna as well. Was moving into the individual. The 2 gentlemen I'm going to speak of and we'll bring up here in just a little bit maneuvered the vessel between the threat and was able to free Mr. Madonna and get him back to Goshen PD and other medical, where he was treated for severe hypothermia, returned to his family, and is doing very well right now. Their actions directly resulted in the rescue and the survival of that medically vulnerable individual. They exemplified the highest standards of professionalism, bravery, and commitment to public service. And they've also brought great credit upon themselves, the Office of Marine Patrol, and the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. So for the 2026 Governor's First Responder of the Year Awards, I'd like to recognize Officers Brian Drilling and Officers Wyatt Webb. If y'all would come up, please. Y'all would just stand up there, and I had them bring their awards in today to kind of show off, and They're very photogenic officers too, if anybody wants to get a picture with them a little later. Sure.
Can we come down with you? Gonna be in it one way or the other, but we'll be down there with you. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Hopefully Miss Charmaine got my good side. Trying to hold my breath there. All right,
Hey,
outstanding.
if I can, real quick,
Yes.
thank both of you and both of your families for what y'all let them do every day to be able to be out there at that time and take care of someone like that. That means a lot. And I tell you what, I know that family is very proud of you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Next individual I'd like to recognize, this individual was nominated by Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. Sergeant Major Brandon Abel is down today with us, joining us. Thank you for coming down. He's going to present the award. But this award is the NASBLA Boating Educator of the Year, and it's awarded to Lieutenant Jeffrey Payne. And when I started naming off all the things that this individual does for our agency, I had to condense it because I was only allowed about 90 seconds up here. But just to give you an idea, this is a 26-year veteran of the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. He has demonstrated a long-standing commitment to boater safety and public education since joining the agency in 2000. Last year, the year he was nominated, he conducted 9 boater education courses during the past year. He certified 162 students in safe boating practices and regulations. He provides boating education throughout Jackson, Harrison, and Hancock counties, expands public access to boating safety training across Mississippi's coastal communities, consistently volunteers time and effort beyond traditional enforcement responsibilities to educate the boating public. He utilizes over 2 decades of Marine Patrol experience to provide practical real-world instruction, recognized for engaging teaching style and ability to connect with students from diverse backgrounds and of all ages, directly contributes to safer waterways by promoting responsible boating and accident prevention through education, exemplifies professionalism, dedication, and commitment to public service. His efforts have a measurable and lasting impact on boating safety for Mississippi citizens and visitors. This is all in addition to all the other extracurricular activities, and that list would go on forever. He is a great, great asset to Marine Patrol. And I want to thank Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks and Sergeant Major Abel for nominating and also winning the Boating Educator of the Year goes to Lieutenant Jeffrey Payne. So if y'all would come on up. If you want to say a few things, Brandon?
Trying to get out of the city.
Did you want to do a picture?
Yeah. We can.
Okay.
No, just stay.
Brandon, do you want to say anything? Are you good? All right.
I just want to thank y'all for
for having me, and I want to thank the work that Lieutenant here does for us, for the state of Mississippi, the citizens of Mississippi. He teaches a lot of classes here on the coast. So, thank y'all. Thank you.
And
So,
thank,
yeah.
and please, tell Director Posey, we appreciate y'all doing this for us. And,
Do you want to,
we thank you very much, and, we thank for y'all for what you do. Because y'all help us a lot down here, especially on the water zone, and I know you do the others, so thank you a lot. I got something else I want to say. You know, Lieutenant Payne, y'all left out about 90% of what he does.
I know. Hey, can we get a quick family pic?
All right. Yeah, you know, Lieutenant Payne, if you ever eat any of that seafood that we do and all, you can look at him because he's the one who directs every bit of that every time. And he takes care of a lot of things. But another thing is too, I can guarantee you, you won't find a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid in South Mississippi that don't know his name that has
right.
anything to do with the boat. So thank you, Jeffrey. I guess this means the Payne legacy lives on, right?
congratulations and well deserved. No doubt. No doubt. Well, looks like we're moving down to Coastal Resource Management. Alyssa Timms. Ronnie, do we have you on? Thank you, sir. Perfect. Morning.
Good morning, commissioners and director. This isn't going to be as exciting following that, so. Let's see. All right, so this morning I'm going to be discussing a request for a certificate of exclusion by the Jackson County Port Authority. The project is located within wetlands adjacent to the Escatawpa River near Highway 63 and Moss Point in Jackson County. The proposed project is within the general use district. The agent is Lisa Morrison with Neil Schaefer, and she is here today if you have any complicated questions. So the purpose and need of this project is to provide additional railroad capacity and connectivity between existing infrastructure, support the growing need for the Port of Pascagoula and Bayou Casat Harbor, as well as remove operational conflicts between railroads and accommodate for the restoration of the passenger rail service. So first, I'm going to discuss the history of this project. This is the fourth proposal for this project that DMR has reviewed. You may remember seeing this 2 years ago, I think. So the original proposal was to build the rail line on fill along this blue line. Let's see if I can get this to work. This blue line up here. And that was going to require fill of 4.89 acres of coastal and non-tidal wetlands. The applicant then acquired land more southward to take advantage of the upland areas, and in 2020, they submitted a modification to build an elevated rail along the yellow path, which would have required 0.9 acre of wetland fill. So then there were changes in supply costs, and the elevated rail was determined to exceed their funding availability. So a second modification was requested in 2023 to follow that same yellow path, but instead of on elevated, it would be on fill, and that would have required the fill of 3.27 acres of marsh. So now the newly proposed project location has been moved approximately 1,800 feet to the west, and it's now on the west side of Highway 63, so it's this red or orange color. So this places it in closer proximity to the existing Mississippi exports facilities, and it crosses over a shorter section of marsh. So the construction of the rail will impact 0.38 acre of marsh. This modified project includes construction using a combination of elevated structures over marsh and construction on fill to tie into the existing rail that's at the north and the south end. This new project location will cross over or through approximately 1,100 feet of tidal marsh, similar to the habitat in the previously permitted area. 760 feet of elevated track will be constructed on pilings, 379 feet of rail track on fill to tie into the existing rail, fill of marsh and unvegetated water bottoms for the construction of a working platform and a crash wall, and fill of marsh for reprofiling of the existing rail. So there is an area of abandoned rail footprint to the west that has been out of use for 15 to 20 years. That's shown over here. Right. But that, so they consider that as an alternative, but it cannot be utilized because it does not meet the speed and curve requirements for modern trains. So this is a photo of the marsh at the proposed location of the rail bridge looking south from Highway 63, the Highway 63 bridge. You can see it's already been impacted by the presence of the power lines and maintenance activities there. So in association with their previous permit for the 0.9 acre of fill, a 1 acre area of uplands was converted to marsh. The created marsh is located in close proximity to the original project location. So it's this area in the red box. And this is where the new proposal is and where the original proposal was. So the applicant has requested that the existing permitting responsible mitigation plan be utilized to continue to mitigate for impacts associated with this proposed project, to which DMR staff has no objection. And the mitigation ratio for the new proposal will be around 3 to 1 of created marsh to impacted marsh. The proposed project is allowable within the general use district. And the applicant was required to request 3 variances to the Mississippi Coastal Program as follows: that bridging must be used in preference to fill. Projects must generally follow the existing alignments in coastal wetlands, and permanent filling of coastal wetlands is not authorized. The justification for these is that no feasible alternative sites or construction techniques are available. There is a significant public benefit, and a public hearing has been held. So this project will aid with the efficient transport of goods and will provide economic benefits through job creation at the port and manufacturing facilities, as well as tax revenue generated from the import and exports of goods. Notice of this project was published in the Sun Herald on May 3rd, 10th, and 17th, and notification appeared on the DMR website from April 30th to May 29th. No public comments were received during that time. A public hearing was held on May 28th, and no public comments were received there. And there were no comments received from MDEQ or MDAH, and the Secretary of State's office stated that the rent exit Tidelands lease will be adjusted for the new project footprint. So DMR staff has evaluated this project and made findings according to our Mississippi Coastal Program. The project would serve a higher public interest by allowing more efficient movement of goods by rail from Bayou Casat and the Port of Pascagoula, and provide economic benefits to the counties connected through Mississippi exports through job creation and tax revenue. So therefore, we request a motion that the commission recommends the executive director to approve the requested variance and approve the certificate of exclusion as requested. Any questions?
Oh, that's looks a lot less of an impact with the newer model than the earlier.
Yes,
ones
they've
for sure.
significantly
And,
reduced it by being able to move it over to the west side of the bridge.
Absolutely. I don't, then the eliminating, some delays with that passenger rail makes all the sense in the world as well. Do we have any questions or?
Now I'll make a motion to approve the requested variance and approve the certificate of exclusion as requested.
And I'll second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ronnie, say aye.
There you go.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We gotta have a quorum.
All right. It looks like the next one's going to be with Miss Alicia.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I have a request for permit by Galat Seafood, Dale Galat. He's in the audience if you have any additional questions. The location is Bayview Avenue, Back Bay, Biloxi, Harrison County, Mississippi. It's in the commercial use district. And the project purpose and need is to fill coastal wetlands and construct a pier and bulkhead to support a shrimp processing facility. So project description, construction of approximately 280 feet of bulkhead to be placed waterward of the existing riprap. Fill of 0.1012 acre of coastal wetlands for shoreline stabilization to prevent further erosion of shoreline and undermining of a building structure. Then they plan to remove an existing pier and replace it with the construction of a 130-foot long and 16-foot wide pier. Project location. Project area in blue, we have the pier as requested. The purplish pink line is the mean high water line, and in green, we have the maximum fill line. So it shows the extreme of 10 foot out from the riprap, but in some places it will only be 2 to 3 feet beyond mean high water. So they only want to go out as far as necessary to get beyond the riprap. So this is a visualization of the current structure, that the building that's being undermined. You can see it's cracking and the water's encroaching, so they want to go out beyond that to support that building structure. The applicant has requested 2 variances to 22 Mississippi Admin Code Part 23. Rule 8.15A states permanent filling of coastal wetlands below ordinary high water mark is not authorized. And Rule 8.4C, vertical face structures must be aligned no further waterward than the current ordinary high water mark. It was justified with Rule 8.19D. This activity requires a waterfront location, and a public hearing has been conducted. The applicant states the project requires a waterfront location. The business that operates on the property is a shrimp processor that provides products nationwide and services commercial and recreational vessels in many capacities. Notification of the proposed project appeared in the Sun Herald as required. Notification of the proposed project appeared on the MDMR website starting on April 24th and June 3rd, 2026. No public comments were received. A public hearing was held on May 19th, 2026, and no public comments were received. MDAQ, no comments. MDAH, no comments. MDWFP, no comments. The Secretary of State stated that a public trust title and lease will be required. And City of Biloxi stated no comments. Staff recommendation, we have thoroughly evaluated this project and made findings to our decision factors. The project would serve a higher public interest by preventing further erosion of the shoreline and an undermining of the building structure that is part of the water-dependent industry. Staff requests a motion to the commission to recommend to the executive director to approve the requested variances and approve the permit as requested.
This one looks pretty cut and dry to me. Either put the bulkhead in or lose part of the building here pretty shortly.
Yeah, no, we definitely need to do what we can to expand and preserve the infrastructure for the vessels here. I'm all for it.
That being said, I'll make the motion to approve the requested variances and the permit is requested.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Commissioner Daniels? 10-4. Thank you. All right. All right. Let's see here. Moving down to public affairs, Ms. Charmaine.
Good morning. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources had 38 media mentions since the May MACMR meeting. News items included shrimp season opening, boat and water safety reminders, Mississippi's free fishing days, GOMESA and Thailand's applications opening, and the Seafood Technology Bureau offering a free ServSafe course to the seafood industry. Marine Patrol gave boating presentations at the CCA's Bay Chapter meeting on May 19th and the Harrison County Chapter meeting on June 3rd. Marine Patrol also attended the Jackson County Safety Day at Van Cleve Middle School on May 20th and East Central's Middle School on May 21st, and the Fire Club's Touch a Truck event in Pascagoula on June 10th. The NEAR's Jennifer Cumbus and Brianna Andrews participated in the Career Fair at Trent Lott Academy on May 21st. Emmett Carsons, also from the NEAR, gave a boardwalk talk at Dauphin Island in Alabama on June 3rd. The Lyman Hatchery staff provided a tour of their facility with Mississippi State University's Aquatic Animal Health Certificate Program on June 8th. The Shrimp and Crab Bureau Director Jason Soche participated in the Children's Summer Reading Program at William Carey University on June 10th. All the bureaus in the Office of Marine Fisheries, the Office of Coastal Resources Management, and the Grand Bay NEAR participated in Marine Discovery Day on June 6th at the Mississippi Museum of Natural Science in Jackson. Our agency, along with other coastal organizations, programs, and institutions, took part in the event, providing fun and educational activities for attendees. The event served as a great opportunity to share information about our local species, ecosystem, and waters with an area of our state not near our marine resources. Mississippi Seafood sponsored the inaugural D'Iberville Fishing Rodeo that was held May 22nd through the 24th, as well as the captain's reception at the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic that was on June 3rd at the Golden Nugget.
Excellent. Any questions for Ms. Charmaine?
No, but I did see the chief up to his elbows in fish fry, so that's a great way to rep.
That's when you know it's good.
And Lieutenant Payne also owns the absolute record for the appearances in the public relations.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always sends photos, which is great.
Sounds like Commissioner Daniels was able to jump back on. Commissioner Daniels, can we get your quick approval of the Galat seafood permit variance? Confirmed. Okay, thank you, sir. All right, moving back to looks like Trevor, you're up with Marine Fisheries.
So we had Josh in here earlier. He was going to be giving this presentation. There he is.
Oh, I'm
All
sorry.
right. So Josh is the new team lead. You heard him earlier. He was promoted from Scientist 3. So you're going to get to hear from him. You're going to be hearing him for the next little while on state
Okay.
records.
Thanks.
Morning, Director, Commissioners.
Morning.
Sorry about that. Just one record today, youth, conventional triple tail. Old record was 19 pounds, 8 ounces. New record's 23 pounds, 7.04 ounces. Angler's name, Thin Lips. Here's a picture of the fish. Here's the picture with Mr. Finn and the fish. This was caught at the OS Marine Mart tournament too, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, that's the only one today.
So the old record was only 19 pounds
For youth,
for you.
Youth,
Okay,
youth,
I
youth,
got you. I was
yeah.
like, wow. What is the what's the full record? It's got to be in the 30s, I would think. Huh?
it's it's got to be over half, so that'd be 30, a little over 38 then at minimum, I would think. Yeah,
Cool.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Appreciate it.
I'll make a motion to approve the record.
I'll second. All in favor? All right.
Thank y'all.
All right, thanks.
All right.
All right, we got one public comment for derelict crab pots. Looks like Mr. Greg Baker. Greg, just state your city and you got 3 minutes, sir.
I live in Ocean Springs. I've been shrimping there for 35 years. And we've always caught crab pots, but now it's just a few of us, and we're catching the lion's share of them. This opening, it cost me at least $2,500 getting crab pots out of my net. At the time I lost, and what we was catching at the time, we had, I think we ended up with 10 crab pots on the opening, and a couple of them, when they get raggedy, you got to cut them out. And it takes you a little bit to sew your net back up and get back going. But it's the biggest marine litter there is. There's nothing, we don't catch anything that comes close to it. I mean, we catch chairs, refrigerators, air conditioners, but we always catch crab pots, and it always hurts us. I mean, really hurts us, because that's the profit. You know, when you lose $1,500, that's $1,500 worth of profit, because your expense stays the same. But there's no accountability for the crab pots. Y'all can tell me how many crab pots are in the sound. You can tell how many's been fished, because they got to fill out a trip report. But each fisherman might have 1,500 crab pots, but only fishing 500. They're using the bay as a storage area. And we're reaping the repercussions of that. And I'd like to see there's no accountability for them. They can have 500 crab pots or 5,000 crab pots. I can only pull a 25-foot net. There ain't but 22 shrimpers. I ought to be able to pull 4 25s now, but we don't, because we got rules. Crabbers don't have any rules. The more money they can put in the water, the more crab pots they can put in. But I'd like to see something done about that. And y'all brought something up that getting off the crab pots, the Bonnie Carey. I'd like to see that money go to the people that are affected. The Gulf Fleet got the lion's share of that money. They wasn't affected one iota. In fact, they reaped benefits from it, because all the brown shrimp stayed out there and didn't come in the bay, and they caught them. And they got the lion's share of that Bonnie Carey. I'd like to see y'all take a look at that, because we ain't caught brownies in 5 years. I got paid more on my first trip than I got from the Bonnie Carey, and I hadn't caught any shrimp, brown shrimp, in Mississippi in 5 years. In my first trip this year, I got more than what I got paid for the Bonnie Carey money. And the Gulf boats got $80,000, $90,000. I got $7.
All right, Mr. Baker, I appreciate your comments. I'm sure the staff will take into consideration your
All right,
comments.
thank you.
Well, I think we need to look at, Mr. Baker, hang on. I do think we need to look at some things. I think we need to look at a couple of things. Obviously, we know, we go out and we try to do crab pots and try to get them out every year. That's one of the things that we try to do. And me and you were talking earlier.
Yeah.
And, but we can't see them at the bottom, at 30 foot of water or 20 foot of water or whatever. We're not going to see those crab pots. And so we're not able to get them out of there. I don't know what we can do. I will definitely talk with the staff, and we will try to do something. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe, I know you have to have a permit for the crab pots and all, but I don't know about the numbers. And
Yeah.
so, Trevor, come on. Yeah, Trevor's the head of fisheries. Let him let's address this. It's something serious.
Yeah, so I think to provide more information, because there are a fair amount of pieces here. So one is, what was mentioned earlier, which is the efforts to remove derelict crab traps, which has been going on for about the last 2 decades. We've had consistent funding for it. We've actually increased the capability of being able to get them from depth, but obviously being so hard to see, it's hard to be efficient with it. The other part is the dynamics of the crab fishery, essentially, how it's been growing over time. Its maximal profitability is occurring right now, which is a lot to be said, at least in our fisheries world. So I think, and if Mr. Baker is okay with it, I think what would be best in this situation is likely coming back next month with a presentation on a lot of this information so it can be covered in a little bit more depth and have a conversation about it.
Okay, that
So-
sounds, yeah, let's
That'd
look.
be good. We do, Mississippi State had a program that was paying us $5 a crab pot. And I think it's been going on for about 5 years. We collected over 5,000 crab pots just to give you, from that one thing, how many crab pots is out there that's derelict. That's about
I
all.
appreciate your comments, sir, and as you've heard from, Trevor, we are going to look at it as a staff, and then maybe next month come back with some type of presentation of where we're at, so, thank you very much for bringing that to us.
All right, that was the lone public comment. Any other business to speak of, Director?
Nothing, but looks like, we're gonna need a rowboat to get out of here.
Oh, man, maybe we can beat it. All right, with that being said, do we have a motion to close?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.